So let's get to know Jamie Haggerty. She's in the sports and entertainment business. She's the general manager at Adrenaline Monkey. She's brave enough to share on camera her personal story, the obstacles of opening a new business, and her insights on how she makes everything happen. I knew her first as Jamie Wolf in 2018. When we heard Adrenaline Monkey would be coming to town, and we actually watched the building go up. It was extremely exciting. I thought, so did everybody else. And was there for her the grand opening on June 30th, 2018, and they've been a member of the chamber ever since. So welcome, Jamie, and we're going to put you on the spot, and you would tell us the backstory to all of this. Go back as far as you need to go, and
Sure.
we'll ask some questions. Go ahead. Welcome. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm looking forward to sharing. I was telling Steve, this is all pretty easy to talk about because I live and breathe it every day, and it's been an interesting journey, but I'm thankful because my journey started pretty early. I've always been in the sports industry. It's really all I know, other than, I bartended through college and all of that, but customer service and heavy in sports. I actually played USA volleyball in high school and then chose college because of volleyball. Always knew I'd go, but I really based it on where I was going to play. I was like, wow, I'll just pick a major later. It doesn't really matter. And the major that made sense was business management with a focus of the sports side. It's general. I could probably do anything with it, I guess. And then figured, kind of let my path go from there. I always tell people I gave up my 20s. I'm in my early 30s now, and I definitely gave it up to focus on my career. I've always been career driven. My parents own their own business. So right after college, well, I worked through college, but right after college, I started working. I worked for ECAC Hockey. I lived in the Northeast at the time. That's where I'm from. ECAC Hockey, and then ORDA, which manages all the Olympic venues in Lake Placid. So the 1980 Olympics, if you guys ever watch Miracle on Ice, I did work at those venues for a couple of years, doing sales, which was pretty uncomfortable for me, but everyone's like, you're great at it. So I kind of, when you're good at something, I think it's easier to do it, even though you don't necessarily like it. Meanwhile, bartending to keep the money coming in. And then realistically, I found my, I would say, dream job at the time, at the age of 24, entry-level position as a sales coordinator, which is really what got me to where I am now. So I worked for a company that plans and manages sports facilities all over the world. So of course, I now run a sports facility, but I was on the planning side. So private developers, sports commissions, CVBs would call my company and say, hey, I have an idea. I have the funds. I want to open an indoor volleyball gym in Myrtle Beach, right? So we put together a feasibility study, kind of do the market mix, market analysis, and say, okay, given this location, here's what would sustain. I absolutely loved it. However, it wasn't so much on the rewarding side, because once they paid, I never got to talk to these clients again. Then Denise Karkuff, the founder of Adrenaline Monkey, called my company. And this company was based out of Clearwater, Florida. Actually, I was living there at the time. She's in Ohio. And I saw her through the sales process. She purchased a feasibility study for Adrenaline Monkey. And that was it, right? Never talked to her. My family then decided to relocate to Ohio for personal reasons. I left my job. I gave them a 3-month notice, and they were really upset that that wasn't enough time. I actually got promoted, sorry, backing up a step, I actually got promoted from coordinator to business development manager with that company after 9 months. So quit the job, moved to Ohio, had no job at the time, was trying to figure that out. And my boss was like, wow, why don't I connect you with Adrenaline Monkey, the owner? I was like, it's just a piece of paper right now, right? Like, it was so premature, so early concept. And, she doesn't really know these details, but we did, say, 100 feasibility studies a year, and less than 5% of them actually came to fruition. So I wasn't feeling that confident about such a brand new concept. And, I'm not a ninja. So at first I was a little bit, this isn't my thing. Long story short there, we met, we hit it off, and she hired me prematurely as the director of business development and marketing. I knew what I was doing on one end, but in terms of the operations, that was still pretty new to me and something I had to learn. But I guess my comfort zone and passion is customer service and just people pleasing. So that kind of came naturally. So I actually started working for Denise. I was the first employee a whole year before we opened. Apparently she liked me and believed in me because she was paying me before we were making money. And then let's see.
Yeah, if I can, I remember you coming to the chamber in the chamber office saying, I don't have an office. We're looking for an office. We need a temporary. I don't know what to do. I don't have an office anywhere.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I've never worked from home, and I work from home currently, and I really don't like it. So I need people. I want to come in and bring donuts and say good morning, and I really like that. So that was definitely hard. And yeah, we worked. We actually worked in a room at PCI Color Bar on Renaissance Parkway. They had a little conference room, so we worked out of there for a while we were getting built.
Yeah.
It was definitely interesting in the beginning, but fun and exciting. So obviously we opened, like you said, June 2018, and I took over as general manager 2.5 years ago. And in that year when I took over is when we turned the corner to profitability. But now I'm a hybrid approach right now. I'm going back and forth between Cleveland and Charleston, South Carolina. We are very excited to open a second corporate location. We're not quite there yet. We put in a couple LOIs for different locations. The Adrenaline Monkey location in Cleveland is a brick and mortar. She purchased the land, built it from ground up. We really don't want to go down that path again. We'd rather lease an existing space. Much easier, can get it off the ground faster. It's hard to be a landlord. So I'm still, running the Cleveland location while focusing on the franchise and getting us to the next level as well.
That's impressive. That's very impressive. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's exciting, very exciting, and more of my passion.
Sure. What were some of the highlights?
Sure.
Really some milestone or highlights, maybe personal highlights for you, maybe a little bit of the company, but tell us.
Yeah, I mean, personally, just to give Denise lots of credit, she's not here. Obviously, how we operate, she's the owner, she's the founder, she's the vision, big picture, and I just make everything happen. Right? So we together are owner operator. She tells me what she wants, and I make it happen. This isn't her primary job right now. So, personally, she's truly pushed me out of my comfort zone, good or bad in the moment, maybe not so good, but it has really shaped me much quicker. She's well-established, she's been in her career, she's successful. So I've been able to learn from her. So personally, I think climbing the ladder in such, from coordinator 7 years ago to now general manager and franchise director, that's a huge, a lot of people don't get to that point that quickly. So I am proud of that. When we talked about me taking over as GM, I was like, oh, absolutely not. There's no way I will do that. She's like, why? You're the perfect person. And I'm too young. People won't trust me. They'll think I'm inexperienced and having that present. And I said, and I don't want to clean toilets. Like, I don't want to clean drains. And of course, I was GM while I was pregnant and on my hands and knees cleaning drains. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way because, again, my parents built their business from ground up. And the reason they're successful is because they live and breathe it every day. And the fact that I've been able to do that gives me in my opinion, the two most important things as a leader, as a boss, is empathy and perspective. And I've been able to gain those two things so quickly, right? Like, I don't just stand there and dictate and point my finger. When we close our building, I'm vacuuming, I'm dusting, I'm cleaning bathrooms. Like, we do it together. And I think that is different with a lot of people that maybe are at the top after so much time, where I've been there. I've done everything. So I do really have a lot of empathy and perspective for my staff, whether they're 16 years old and this is their first job, or they're a manager and they've been doing this for a while in different operations. So that's my personal.
So just for the article, one of the top highlights is toilet cleaner, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've mastered it. Yeah.
Just want to get that. Juliana, you got that?
Yeah, please cliff note that. Exactly. I've become really good at cleaning. And then, for us as a business, I try to think about, okay, what would Denise say? Because again, I'm really her advocate. If I had to go down that path specifically, what would Denise say is our biggest accomplishment is, before COVID, our business really operated on parties and events and mass marketing. So drop-ins, right? They're bored, it's rainy, they're coming in, and we can plan for that. Those are our bigger revenue streams: parties, events, drop-ins. So we had to get creative. And a lot of people, we would say maybe they gave up, or they hoped people would come, hoped the phone rang. Not us. We got really creative. We created Adventure School, which was remote learning at Adrenaline Monkey. That was a brand new concept. That wasn't, we just Googled something. She and I whiteboarded this and thought about it in terms of pricing and what makes sense. And it really helped us. So we had remote schoolers from all over, within 20 minutes, bring their laptop and do their school at Adrenaline Monkey. And then during their breaks, during their recess, they got to play. And it was all organized, structured. We had certified teachers. So that was a huge accomplishment for us, especially as we franchise and grow. Who knows if something like this would happen again, or a different version, I guess. So again, that big accomplishment is just getting creative with the revenue streams. Classes jumped up, our youth programming increased. So that was really nice to see. And then we were able to improve that and grow it and make it better. So really after that, struggles, but we're still sustaining. So I would say an accomplishment is the fact that we're still standing.
Sure.
Right now. I think a lot of people feel that way. And I'm sure people worry about businesses like ours as we worry about other types of businesses, and we want to help any way we can. Everyone's a partner, everyone's a friend. But the fact that we're still standing and we're able to get creative and keep a small team and continue to put those systems and processes in place to grow and be ready for that. Hopefully that regrowth. We're ready. Other than staffing, we're not ready with staffing.
Right. And Jamie and I were talking previous to this, and I had confessed to her that some of us around the table wondered about, your business, because of that type of business and your business, and whether it would make it through or not, and I'm very happy to hear, as I told her, that, that you guys are growing, that you're doing well, and that you're looking at different locations. And that's great. That's really good news. So,
yeah,
congratulations.
absolutely. Yeah,
Sure.
we're lucky, and for our last, I guess our last highlight accomplishment that I made some notes, is kind of a twofold. We really opened our doors with some strong marketing. A lot of people actually were like, how many locations do you have? We branded ourselves in a way that made us look a little bit more corporate and professional. And we paid and we did our diligence and research and everything. So I think that helped us early on and has continued to help us. Alongside that, because that was the role I played, was the marketing sales role. And then next to that is the amount of TV coverage and, say, free marketing and mass media that we've been able to achieve over the past 3 years. I mean, I'm probably doing a TV interview every 2 or 3 months. I just write press releases and push them out and call people, and they cover us for different reasons. It could be from an athlete. We've had kids that have been on the show. There's just a lot of moving pieces with our business that keeps it exciting and the next best thing. So we're just really proud of that. We're proud that we were able to put something brand new together. This wasn't a copy paste. I was like making up photos to do pre-opening marketing. Just cropping people out and putting things in and that was hard. That was really hard to establish the pre-opening when this wasn't a concept. This wasn't, there was nothing like this out there. Yes, there's similar places, but we're our own business in that sense.
Yeah, that's great. And also I think during our conversation, it impressed me, and I'll use your words, the owner role, and as you just mentioned, it's entrepreneurial, it's an owner role, and that you're all things in your at Adrenaline Monkey, including HR.
Yeah,
areas that you probably had no training in previous to that, or that's not what you went to school for. Tell
Yeah,
us, is there any, what were those challenges? What were the challenges some of the challenges you had,
sure, absolutely. Well,
maybe
yeah, I
still
mean,
have?
yeah, well, and honestly, Denise, a lot of the operational side, that's not her background either. So we've had to figure some things out. I guess one of the early struggles that we had a third party management company, and they were running our business, and they hired our staff, and it actually was the company I came from. So I trusted them, I was excited, but it didn't turn out to be great. So we had a couple guys that worked for us in the beginning, and it just wasn't a good a mix, or the right mix. So it took some time to really figure that out, and be able to trust people and kind of onboard them slow and put them in the right role. In any customer facing business, it's always redirection, reprioritizing, replanning. Like every day I have a plan, I have a list, I know what I'm going to do, my calendar's full, and it changes every day, right? So being adaptable is huge in this kind of business. Sometimes I wish it was a little bit easier, but then I laugh. I'm like, I don't know any other way. I'm a multitasker, right? So having my hands in everything, being that control center, keeps me going every day, especially while working remotely. Keeps me on my toes. Whether it's an injury that comes up, whether it's just someone's upset about something, that's what I'm dealing with day in and day out. So I mean, again, the early struggles were just getting our foundation, figuring out the hierarchy, the role clarity. There was a lot of like, that's not my job in the beginning. I hope you guys don't deal with that, but we did. And that, at first it's like, yeah, you're right, that's not my job, but no, that's not how we think. And I really focus on changing that. When I hire people, when I interview people, I tell them, no one is too good for any job. And I don't know, I think there was probably a video that I saw online, and the CEO asked their hundreds of employees, and they said, who here works in the janitor, department, or, the cleaning department, right? And I think there was like the 10 or 15 people that raised their hand. And he said, all of you need to raise your hand because you all work in it, right? It's, we have to work together. We have to chip in. And that's why I try to lead by example with that. So again, coming back, it's just figuring those things out, and it's a little bit of plug and play. You got to make mistakes. I've said sorry probably more than most bosses. And I mean it, I'm not perfect. And I think that works sometimes. I'm real. I am human, and I do make mistakes. And Denise has been right there by my side through that. So, I mean, staffing then and now is just totally different. That was more building this foundation, but now it's just truly getting the staffing. But some other early struggles that maybe some new businesses could relate to, for us, was truly securing a location. Like I said, we wanted to lease space, kind of be a co-tenant type of thing, be about 15,000 square feet. And that just wasn't available with the ceiling height we needed, which is why she built from ground up. And
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, why, and I wasn't really sure if I should, why Warrensville Heights, why this location? So that's great. Thank you for.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. We looked all over, everywhere. And that's what really delayed our project. Existing space was hard. And then our biggest hurdle, which is probably going to be our biggest hurdle as we grow and franchise, is the ceiling height. If anybody's been inside a Journal Monkey, our ceilings are 27 clear, so below the truss. And that allows us to be really efficient with space. We have that double decker where we have ninja courses on the main floor, and then the aerial ropes course. So as you guys know, you pay per square foot. Well, when you have a double decker, you're not paying for the vertical square feet. And that allows us to just put more in the space. Buildings that tall were not available. And buildings in general just weren't available. So actually, we were working with a builder that was going to build on our current site, and we were going to be a co-tenant next to a gymnastics center. So we would just pay rent to that owner. And the gymnastics center backed out. They couldn't afford the rent. So Denise was like, well, I'm just going to buy the land. Warrensville Heights land is most affordable in the area. And Warrensville Heights is central. We have all those great areas, Beechwood, Solon, Shaker. It's a really nice central hub location. close to the highway. So that was why she built it. We were just struggling and it was just dragging the project out. So she decided to build the building. So it ended up being much bigger than expected. We were supposed to be around 15,000 square feet. Our floor plan, our design was around that. And we ended up, we're just under 25,000 square feet with the mezzanine. So we had a little bit of dead space where we had to get creative again. And that's why we put the arcade in. We have a basketball court. So, and that could always change. You know, it's kind of like, it's nice flex space for the business.
Yeah, great. So we'll change up just a little bit.
Sure.
You just sound so busy. How do you balance personal family life with your responsibilities?
Yeah, this makes me laugh because this is where Denise and I would say different things. She and I did a presentation in front of a local college for entrepreneurs, just interested entrepreneurs. And that was a question because, you know, younger people are all about that work-life balance. And Denise's answer was, there's no such thing. You know, she's a lawyer. She's in her early career, she was working 16-hour days straight, just pumping it out. So that's what she would say. Well, unfortunately, I have a 2-year-old, so I have to find a work-life balance. And for me, again, like I mentioned earlier, it's all about reprioritizing. Things are always moving to the top. And I really focus on, I love doing corporate development and training. And one of the things I focus on is that urgent important chart. If you haven't seen it, you know, Google it. It's a tool that I use for my team. You know, if it's urgent important, that's what you're doing today. You know, if it's not urgent, you might reprioritize. If it's not urgent and it's not important, don't do it, right? Push that aside. So that's a tool that I use quite a bit. And then for me, because I have a little one and that uninterrupted time is so important to me, I actually work when he goes to bed. So from about 8:30 to 11 or 12, it's quiet, it's uninterrupted, and I get a lot done. What I get done in those couple hours would take me more than that during the day, especially with the distraction of employees, the phone ringing, the operation, customers, whatever it is. So I don't disagree with Denise. You know, work-life balance is hard, but you have to make that time because that's what's important. And you just have to prioritize.
Great. Excellent. Anybody have any questions for Jamie? Any comments?
What was the tool she used? Urgent, important?
You want to put your, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, let me
Oh,
pull
she
up
could hear.
the
You can
official
hear.
thing. Oh, yeah, I can hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an urgent important matrix. Eisenhower's urgent important principle for time management. And I'd be happy to share one of the corporate presentations that I do for training. It's my passion, so I do that training. I'd be happy to share that with businesses, or if they want to, you know, they want to jump on, I can do a 30-minute little seminar with their staff too. You know, sometimes hearing it from somebody else has been helpful. I know my team probably is sick of hearing me talk, but happy to do that with the focus on, you know, whether it's sales focus or time management. I have different PowerPoints that I go through.
Oh, that's good. That would be good. I mean, I would love to offer it to the members we could talk about it afterwards, you know, and if we can round up some folks that want to hear it and do a Zoom, that'd be wonderful. That'd be excellent. Yeah. Very good.
So quick question, you know, you're talking about franchising. So are you obviously we're a franchise, so I'm interested in, so you're the corporate development and you're going to look for franchisees? Is that my understanding?
Yeah. So we would like to have another corporate location, really just to kind of bounce things off and, you know, throw something at the wall and see if it sticks, right? That kind of allows us to be a little bit more creative. After that, everything would be franchise owned. So yeah, we are seeking franchisees. We are planning on going to a franchise show this fall, probably November time, just allows us to get our, you know, materials pulled together. We did hire a franchise consulting firm. I think that's what they're called, franchise marketing systems.
Yep.
FMS. And they helped us put together a lot of the documents, the formalities, all of that. So yeah, that's our goal, is to seek out franchisees. We actually had about a dozen people that we're talking to, people that were touring our facility, understanding our concept, and we weren't really ready for them. And we were honest, you know, I mean, it's only been a few years. So yeah, that is what we want. That would
Oh,
be
that's great. That's great. Good for you guys. So it's
Yeah.
exciting.
It is exciting.
Okay, Colleen, any advice? Any franchising advice?
I'll take it all.
Just be, you just got to be as transparent as possible, and you gotta, corporate communication is everything. Because
Yeah.
we had another concept, and the corporate communication was terrible, and we unfortunately failed. So,
Yeah.
but we've been in the Buffalo Wild Wings franchise business for over 25 years. So I think we're doing pretty well with them.
Absolutely. I love Buffalo Wild Wings.
Hey,
I'm from
Congratulations.
Rochester, Buffalo area, New York. I know that's not exactly the same, but that was my world.
Very good. Very good.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. Anything else? Any other questions? Jamie, thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate you spending the time with us.